Will we have any more joy with Muppets Treasure Island then, Drew?
Well, obviously, Scott, it's the Muppets. How could you not?
Yes.
To the southwest, pirate galleons. To the southeast, multi-armed Zanzibanian shark women and their exploding wigs of death. To the northwest, dirty dishes. How does she do that? And to the northeast, then, an irreverent Muppet take on probably the most famous pirate story of all, Robert Louis Stevenson's Treasure Island. For those unfamiliar with the story, or who need a quick refresher, an old pirate called Billy Bones is staying at an inn when he is delivered the Black Spot, a signal of coming reckoning by his piratey former chums. This, more or less, frightens him to death, but not before he passes his treasure map, marked with an X of course, onto young Jim Hawkins. Young Master Hawkins takes the map to a rich man named Trelawney, who agrees to make a voyage to find the treasure on its distant island, hiring Captain Smollett to command his ship, the Hispaniola, and because Trelawney is, shall we say, gullible, also hiring an entire crew of pirates, amongst whom is a cook by the name of Long John Silver. So, well, it'll be a pirate ship before you can say pieces of 8. As with the Muppet Christmas Carol a few years before this, the story is pretty close to the source material, just with certain felt favourites in its major roles. Captain Smollett is a familiar shade of green, Squire Trelawney notably ursine. The ship's figurehead has a complaining sort of quality, and Ben Gunn is now Benjamina Gunn, and she's not someone you'd want to anger. And all that with added songs and lots of fourth wall breaking meta comments. I've never cared much for most of the rather schmaltzy songs Kermit gets lumbered with in most of the Muppets big screen outings, but, well, that's about it for negatives for me. And here it's more than balanced out by the likes of songs like Shiver My Timbers and Cabin Fever. Like the Muppet Christmas Carol, it's great, and it's simply a whole lot of fun. Really, is there anything else you need to know? It's funny, silly, and the few humans involved, Billy Connolly, Kevin Bishop, Jennifer Saunders, and especially a great Tim Curry, are clearly having a good time too, which just keeps everything really enjoyable. It's Treasure Island with Muppets. It's great. Boom, shakal akal. Boom, shakal akal.
Yeah. I mean, adding Muppets to anything, much like bacon, tends to make it great, doesn't it?
Unless you add bacon to Muppets, that's not going to work.
Well, no. Bit too cheap.
All that greasy felt.
Just on a quick sketch around, this does not seem to be one of the better regarded Muppets outings, and I don't know why. I really, really, really enjoyed this. Probably a little palate cleanser, in particular, if you've watched some of the other films we're talking about before it. And yeah, it's really funny. I think, kind of like what you're saying, I could have done with maybe one less song. I would happily have traded that for another few minutes of either Billy Connolly or Tim Curry chewing the scenery, because they're fantastic in it, and I would have happily lapped up some more of that. Perhaps some of the sappier songs are its weakest points, but the rest of it is so great and so funny and so many great lines, and the kind of running gag of Rizzo the Rat running the pirate ship as a cruise for rats as well, and having them do like contemporary cruise activities at the same time as the rest of things going on was a great, really sharp script, and it's just incredibly funny, as a lot of the Muppets things are, and yeah, while also maintaining the structure of a classic story, and it all works really well. I had an absolute blast watching this, and yeah, if for some reason you haven't watched it already, then do so. I thought it was great. I disagree with you, Roger Ebert. You're wrong about this. It's actually good.
Yeah. With the exception of our second last film, I think, because that was a real story, this is the best narrative of any of the films we're talking about, and it's a Muppet film. I never realised that it had received negative reviews and things. Scotland, obviously all films have potentially received some, but I'd always thought this was good. I think like this and The Muppet Christmas Carol, the two films, the two back-to-back theatrical releases for the Muppets, were just the best Muppet films. And the only one that even comes close is the 2014 Muppets? The one with Jason Segel anyway.
Yeah.
And I don't like Walter, and given Walter's a major character in that kind of cripples that one somewhat for me. But these were the two best ones, because the film that followed us, I think, was Muppets from Space, which is terrible. But these two are great, and there's such catchy songs.
Yeah, it seemed to get
weird.
Mediocre, if not completely negative reviews on a number of sites. Hard to say when it's going back this far, but yeah, I think that's... Maybe it's because there was a bit more familiarity with Muppets at the time, and maybe they were seen as sort of flogging a bit of a dead horse, but certainly viewed from now, where there's not so much Muppets knocking around, it's certainly great to go back and visit it again.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, this must have been about the time Muppets Tonight was on, because they were starting to introduce some of those characters, because... There may be some of the minor characters in it, but the only one I really know from Muppets Tonight that's in this is Clueless. But that's great, because Clueless's laugh, ever since I first saw this film, like 25 years ago, whatever, it's like... I had this message alert tone for ages, like, I'm walking up with the black spot to give to Long John Silver, and he says, "This is for you. This is for you." Like, this is for you. It gets stuck in my head. Like... It's always like the start of a Woody Woodpecker laugh, and it's just so they introduced a wee bit of the new stuff in there, and I've completely gone away from my point, because I've distracted myself with Clueless Morgan. It's just the way it starts off is just so much fun. That great Shiver My Timbers song. The whole thing is just fun, and it's not taking itself or anything else seriously. And it's just a whole lot of fun. And I don't understand how people can not like this.
Yes. Monsters, all of you.
Soulless demons, Scott. Yeah, look, if you like the Muppets, this is one of the best Muppets films there is. And there are actually quite a lot of them now. A lot of TV movies and stuff too. This is great. And it's almost as good as A Muppet Christmas Carol. And that's amazing. So you should definitely watch this if you like the Muppets.
Absolutely.